So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings release from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and the results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. So we will today look into Reverend Heng Shi and Dharma Master Heng Chau, who is now Dr. Martin Verhoeven's bowing journals. We haven't read them for quite a while, but I thought it would be nice to return to their journey up the California coast, wishing or praying for world peace and the ending of disasters. So this entry is by Dharma Master Heng Chau, Marty, March 23rd, 1978, titled, No, It's My Karma. Sheriff Officer Connolly stopped to see if we were okay and to wish us a good day. Be careful. This is Easter weekend, and the worst section of the road is ahead, he advised us. 2 young men out driving the scenic coast in a convertible sports car. They were packed up and setting out to find something that college doesn't have. Miles and Steve's, in their early 20s, stopped to make an offering of fresh fruit and bread. They asked some questions. We heard that this is how you get your food, said Steve. I nod. They get everything like this, said Miles. Wow, that's incredible, answered Steve. I know a lot of people must ask this, but I really want you to know. Why? Why are you doing this? Well, if you can find what was behind your impulse to stop and make an offering, then you'll know why. The reason we became monks and are out here bowing basically is the same reason you had the thought to stop and ask why, I said. Said Steve. What do you bow for? Wondered Miles. To try to turn back disasters and suffering in the world. We transferred the bowing to help cool off the overheating world a little. That's far out. I mean, you give it away? You're not doing it for yourselves, said Miles. Yeah, cut in Steve. That makes it real, you know. He continued. One of my favorite quotes goes something like this. A bell's not a bell unless you ring it. A song's not a song unless you sing it. Love's not love until you give it away. It's not real love if you try to keep it. I really like that. It doesn't mean romantic love, I think it means just being good and decent to everyone, not being selfish and uptight, he said. Full moon today, in celebration of Shakyamuni Buddha's birthday, or Shakyamuni Buddha's nirvana. 2 men came up as we ate lunch in a sandy pull-off next to an ocean inlet. With folded hands, they did a half bow, then offered food, flowers, and incense. They were really happy and full of light. They placed the food respectfully on our mat and offered incense and flowers at the small altar in the car. Not a word was spoken. It wasn't necessary. They bowed and left. John Scroggs, Guo Zan, and his brother Tom stopped en route to their parents' home in Carmel. They offered some fresh orange juice and words of encouragement. Road looks pretty clean up to this point. You must be working hard. Everybody at the City of 10,000 Buddhas has you two somewhere in the back of their heads, bowing all the time, said Guo Zan. Guo Zan is single-handedly running the sewage plant at the city. It's not a fixed dharma, he joked. It's what he deserves, retorted his brother Tom. No, it's my karma, corrected John. A party of Tibetan Buddhists and a couple of cars stopped. Purple robes and smiles. One in a white shirt with yellow top and a ponytail seems to be their spokesman. They knew we were from Gold Mountain and doing prostrations. All the way, one kept saying. All the way. It's nice to hear the sound of Dharma Master Heng Chau at that time and getting a sense of the real sincerity of their practice. Being out on the road, exposed to the elements, and then meeting all these different people who come out. Some making offerings with actual, food, incense, words of encouragement. Some make offerings of curses, proselytization, maybe a rock. And they're there just bowing along, receiving whatever the universe offers them. But what was quite striking about the exchange, which we've probably talked about quite a bit in the past as we've gone through the journals. And Marty and Reverend Heng Sher both repeat this quite a lot. Because people often ask them why. Why do you do this? Why are you exposing yourself to so much suffering, so much difficulty, and just bowing along the road, 3 steps and a bow? Why do you do this? And I like Marty's response. Rather than try to give a long philosophical answer, like, we're doing this for all living beings, future liberation from samsara, so they become Buddhas. That's why we're doing it. He says, well, why did you come and make an offering? Why did you ask your question? It's just that place. That's the reason why we're doing what we're doing. And this is the Hui Guang Fan Zao, the returning the light to look within. So somebody is curious, asking Marty, why are you doing this? Marty does a skillful Aikido move, asks them, why are you asking? If you knew why you're asking, you'll know why we're doing this. And I think Marty's response isn't actually just a kind of a fun kind of trick, but in fact, he's trying to point to something very universal, saying we're not special. We're not special doing this spiritual practice, going on this pilgrimage. In fact, all of us are on this pilgrimage. All of us have this goodness and purity within ourselves. but we so often forget. But the man still asks, the other man, Miles, asks, so what are you bowing for? Just for the world, to lessen the disasters, to lessen the pain and suffering, to cool down the planet. I think at that time, maybe he was thinking about it in terms of anger and nuclear weapons. Now we have climate change and the world literally overheating. Which is a good question. What are we practicing for? Is it just for our own comfort? To develop a little bit more patience? I know when I started the Dharma practice, I was very much feeling it was like an investment for my well-being. The more I meditated, the more patient I could be, the more my life could go well. Because I saw in the relationships around me, so much suffering came from not having patience, being reactive, saying things that hurt one another. I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. I don't want to walk that path myself. So I became curious, wanting to investigate the spiritual path. But as I began to investigate the Dharma more and more, say perhaps first it was because I didn't want to suffer. But I realized that following the models given by people like Rebbe Heng Chau and Marty, by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that the true spirit on this path isn't so that we can just be free and happy ourselves, but that we can dedicate it to those around us, to those we care about, to the planet, to all living beings. I think this is a worthy reflection, especially for myself, but maybe today it's something that people can reflect on, is why do we practice? What are we practicing for? Because I think if we can tune into that place, moment to moment, when we begin our meditation practice, we're now beginning to start the 3 steps, 1 bow. Even when we go through our day, going to work, in meetings, taking care of our children or our parents, or those around us. Why are we doing this? What are we doing it for? And before each activity, we can just check in. Simple question. Why are we doing this? What are we doing this for? Okay, so wish everyone a day of well-being. Definitely, I hope wish everyone well. I know we've been, for many of us, together for quite a while in this time of pandemic and sometimes difficulties, but I think this connection of mutual care and support is very important. That one element of why we're doing this is to support each other on the spiritual journey. Okay, so let's do 3 steps, 1 bow.